Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us here, and let me be the first to welcome you to the experience era. When you think about this has been a long time coming. When we, as consumers, have a growing set of expectations of the brands that we interact with, brands that we use through every day in our lives, we expect those experiences to be different, to be memorable, to be useful. And brands have to reimagine how they deliver those experiences. In a world that is digital first and digital enabled, we are all of us really helping make experiences happen. We're all of us in the business of experiences. The experience business requires us to think differently. It requires us to reimagine our business processes. It requires us to build, I guess this clicker is not working. Can we go back here for a second? Okay. It requires us to reimagine how we bring these experiences to life and satisfy our customer requirements, customer needs. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what it means to be in the experience era. Experiences matter more than ever before. People demand great experiences, and we have to deliver on those experiences. There's a growing affinity for moments ahead of matter. Consumers, millennials especially, share everything about their lives with their friends and their family. The products, the services that they use are just along for the ride. As marketers, as brands, as companies, as digital professionals, we all feel this every day. We know our products are along for the ride on this journey of consumers experiencing them. And Adobe is uniquely positioned to help brands do this. We've been focused on customer experience and changing the world through digital experiences from the get-go. Before the concept and the idea of experiences was the industry flavor of the month as it is now. At Adobe, we've been involved in every step of the consumer journey and the consumer experience, from how brands create those experiences to how you visualize them, deliver great experiences and value, to how you start to measure the results that people get from these experiences. This is what we do. This is what we're about. And we look forward to helping you on this journey to become an experience business. We look forward to partnering with you and delivering on your expectations as you seek to transform into an experience business and meet those growing demands and expectations of today's consumer. At Adobe, we've always been about empowering people, giving people the tools to make their aspirations come to life. The Creative Cloud, a one-stop shop for creative professionals globally to create great content. The Document Cloud, that helps you transform paper-based processes into digital workflows. And the Marketing Cloud, that allows you to bring experiences to life in a variety of marketing cross-channel processes. And our innovation agenda is driven largely by bringing the power of these clouds together in a way that you can transform your business. And most recently, we announced the availability of Adobe Sensei. Sensei is the Japanese word for teacher. Think about Adobe Sensei as the intelligence behind our platform and our three clouds. Think about it as the brains behind the operation, if you will. a vast array of algorithms, machine learning, deep learning, and artificial intelligence that powers the Adobe magic that you see in our products every day is what Adobe Sensei is. You'll see us roll out more and more of our machine learning and data science capabilities over the next coming months in Adobe Sensei. It'll be available to you to use in any one of our solutions, any one of our products. It'll be available to our partners to build on top of and empower you to do more with our solutions, bring more value to you. As you think about this growing need from consumers for great experiences, those escalating demands that they have on your brands, that they have on our brand, it creates a very potent mix. It requires us to rethink, reimagine how we bring products to market. Every consumer, whether it's a local pub regular or a global brand loyalist, expects us to not only know them, but to create a personalized journey and deliver experiences that are compelling, consistent, and continuous. And these expectations are showing no signs of slowing down. Sporting events, which are in some ways the last bastion of non-programmable television. You can start watching a soccer game, a football game in the pub. You can take the game with you on your phone or on your Uber ride as you try to get back home, and you can pick up the game from where you left it. As recently as 5 years ago, that would have been unimaginable. But now that's part of what we expect to do as a consumer of great content. And this need for delivering consistent, continuous, compelling experiences, coupled with the organizational requirements for meeting business objectives and so on, have introduced a significant point of disruption inside the enterprise. This is a disruption such as one we haven't seen before. It requires brands to reimagine their business process. It requires us to rethink how we organize our teams. It requires us to think differently about what products we bring into the market, how we do things like market research or product development, customer support, selling. This is a secular disruption happening in the enterprise. It'll change how we operate. It'll change business models. And we are at the early stages of the third such disruption that happened over the last 50 years. And let me share with you a quick synopsis of the disruptions that have been happening. Not so long ago, in the late 60s, brands started to focus on automating their back office. They started to think about ways to digitally connect their procurement, their manufacturing, and their production teams. They started to think about how they could automate financial systems and reporting. And they found that the efficiency drove in the organization was astounding. They found that there was tangible value that was being created. This gave rise to ERP systems, as we know of them today. And the boardroom was fascinated with automating the back office. And they realized this improved margins and improved performance and improved accountability. And more companies bought into this idea of automating the back office. And very quickly, it became table stakes. It became ubiquitous. It no longer delivered differentiation for brands. And then in the last 20 years, we saw the second wave of disruption happening. And we call this the front office wave. And this wave was really focused on changing how we sell, changing how brands manage their customer pipelines. This gave rise to systems that we know of today as CRM. And it helped you automate and think differently about how you captured leads and how you acted on leads and how you replaced that humble Rolodex that sat on every sales rep's desktop. Well, today, again, CRM systems are ubiquitous. The competitive advantage they provided has receded. It's table stakes, if you will. And as such, we're now entering the experience business wave. It's about closing the gap between what our consumers expect and what we deliver for them. The experience business wave requires us to deliver experiences that are useful, that deliver great utility, and that are driven by the consumer's needs, first and foremost. The experience business wave is about surprising and delighting your customer at every turn. It's about anticipating their needs. And it's about everybody in your organization, from the CEO to the office manager, obsessing about the customer's experience. The experience business wave is also fundamentally different than the previous two waves we saw. The back office and the front office waves were really about us as brands, as employees that work for a company. They're about making us more efficient. They're about improving our productivity. This next wave, the experience wave, is really about the consumer. And driving this obsession about the customer's experience is not an easy thing to do. In some ways, you can argue that this third wave of disruption, this experience business wave, was inevitable from when we first started using digital technologies inside the enterprise. You could argue that the first two waves were just a natural outcome of where the experience business wave is headed. It was only a matter of when, not a matter of if, we would actually get to this thing, focusing on the customer and the customer's experience. Now let's talk a little bit about what the experience business wave would mean from the eyes of the customer, right? Because ultimately, it's the consumer, the customer, who's the judge of our ability to deliver great experiences. The consumer determines if we've made the transformation into becoming an experience business. So we at Adobe think about how consumers will evaluate us, will assess us as an experience business in 4 key ways. Let me share those ideas with you. First and foremost, an experience business will want me to know them and recognize them. It'll want me as a brand to understand their needs, anticipate their needs even before they express them. And do this while respecting the privacy of the consumer. An experience business will speak in one voice. So often, the experiences are choppy and disrupted and interrupted because the different departments in the organization, whether it's sales or marketing or support, don't really communicate with one another or don't deliver a consistent message. An experience business will really focus on the message and speaking to the consumer in a consistent single voice. An experience business will make their technology transparent to the consumer. We're all so obsessed with getting the ad on the app, on the phone, on the mobile, on the car, on the mobile device. But forcing our processes, our requirements on the consumer while they are trying to achieve something, while they're trying to do something, while they're trying to interact with our brand, while we may think it's cool and it's a great use of technology, that's really not cool for the consumer. So an experience business will transform its technology and its process so it's available at the fingertips of the consumer. An experienced business will realize that the medium is not the message. The experience is the message. And work hard to deliver that. And then ultimately, the experienced business will delight us at every turn. An experienced business will be ready to disrupt itself and change itself to meet the growing, escalating demands of the consumer. An experienced business knows that today's great experience is tomorrow's average experience. So as you go through the rest of today, think about those 4 big ideas. Know me and respect me. Speak in one voice, be consistent. Make the technology transparent. Don't interrupt the experience process a consumer is undergoing. And then finally, delight the consumer at every turn. Now, in technology, we used to talk about Moore's Law and how computing power would double every 18 months. And that would allow us to do different things. Would allow us to put more computing power at work. And that's given rise to lots of different innovation. As you think about the experience business, what is the law that drives the experience business? I would suggest it's the law of customer experience. That states that a consumer's expectations of your brand will double every 18 months. And so if we haven't started preparing for this escalating demands of our consumers, these escalating expectations of great experiences that they have from all of us, we're already behind. And we have to start today. So I hope you'll view today as the start of an exciting journey to becoming an experienced business. And you'll enjoy the content that we have to share with you. Please join me in welcoming our next speaker, Ruben of Ziggo, who's going to share how they've thought about the service organization inside their company.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let me briefly introduce Ziggo to you. Ziggo is a cable company in the Netherlands. It's a national cable company, so we have the whole footprint is the whole Netherlands. And we were merging 2 companies called UPC Netherlands and Ziggo 2 years ago. And that's also the starting point of the story, because if you're merging 2 separate companies to one, the risk is that you will be very internal focused, that you lose your sight of your customers, and that you also lose the connection with your employees. And in all fairness, it's also the starting dilemma of this story, is after a couple of months during the transformation of bringing the 2 companies together, we found out that the relational NPS of our customers was dropping, but also the employee satisfaction was dropping. So the connection with your employees was also pretty low. And that's also the starting point of the story, what we've done with this program. So basically, what can we do to change the company back from inside outside to outside inside? And on the other hand, also get the connection back with your employees in all the locations. First of all, we needed to define the vision on how we look at customer experience and how we look at our customer service. And basically what we defined was we need to improve our customer satisfaction by continuous improvement programs, having a look at all the interactions with our customers, we're having a look at what went wrong and how we can do next time better, but also make our employees, again, the ambassador of Ziggo. So they need to stand for the company. And I'm a strong believer that you can only have a good relationship with your customer, that you can have fun for your customer if you also have internal fun. So you need to bring fun in your company. And if you merge 2 companies to one, the first thing you will start doing is reduce FTEs, you will have integration plans, you will have value creations to realize. And to get back in control again, we first need to have open contact with your employees. They are the persons having contact with the customers. So that's a critical component of what we needed to do. If you are fully internal focused and bringing 2 companies together, you find out after a couple of months that the customers have long waiting times in your call center, that they have to wait a long time for the home engineer to come and to help a disruption, that there are emails open there for more than 30 days. So first what we did was a daily management call on a senior level, where the agents of the call center told what happened the day before. So how many customers did call us? And what was the average waiting time? How many emails did we get on one day, and what's the oldest outstanding email? So we really focused on the importance of the day. And the people listening in were the product managers, was online, the digital team was there, the IT department was there, the network department. And every time the agents told to the directors of the different departments what they needed to do to help the customer. And the day after, they needed to report back to the agents. That was step one. The second thing is, if you look at a big company like Ziggo is, you need to focus on the end-to-end processes, the handovers between the different departments. And I think, I don't know which company you all work for, but most probably you recognize this one. If there's a handover between two departments, you will find an issue there. Who's accountable for the handover, input, output? So we set up a program where we focused on improving your end-to-end processes. And if you bring two companies together, you will also find out that what you assume everyone understands, in reality is not true. So you also need to define it again and make it more explicit. That was the second component. That's what we call the quality program. After 6 months, I can tell you that the number of calls of our customers reduced with 50%. The average waiting time declined with more than 90%. So the emails, the oldest outstanding email was 24 hours. But still, A, our customers were not satisfied, and B, our employees were still disconnected with what we are doing. So you think about it, you drink a glass of wine, which always helps to come up with a creative plan. And you basically find out that you only focused on the reaction of the customer and not on making a connection with your customer again. And you find out that the only thing you do is listen to your employees, but you didn't make a connection again with your employees. So that was missing in the story. So we started a program called Ovidius, and it's basically saying we really need to transform our service strategy. So instead of a call reduction program with a successful result is a reduction of your calls, you say, okay, if the customer calls us, I want to have an optimal experience for the customer. Which also means that we didn't start programs like Drive to Web or Push to Web, even worse. Not because the web is a bad channel, there's a wrong audience to tell that, but it's also because I think if you push customers to a certain channel, it's a risk, because customers will experience the push. So we said we'll define 3 new channels, and based on the channels, we'll optimize the journey for the customer in the specific channel. That's one. The second thing is, we needed to make connection with the employees on the floor again. So the call centers, the home engineers, the IT people, the billing operators, etc. That was the second component. By doing that, you will also change the way of thinking and the internal culture again and make it really a customer-focused company. So what did we do? The new department called Ziggo Helps, that was customer operations. We said we will have 3 channels. You do it yourself, and if you want to do a self-installation, we'll make it optimal for you. So we look at everything that goes wrong, and we optimize it for you. If you want to do it online, self-service, you can never end with a phone number. If you are not able to do it yourself online, then you need to end with a chat. There also Adobe steps in, because we can continuously look when a customer is still ending in a chat or still wants to call us, then you can optimize the FAQs, you can optimize the journeys, etc., the explanations that you put online. A customer wants to do it together with us, so they want to have a call, a chat, an email, conversation, whatever, so optimize that channel, or they want us to do it. And especially in the installation phase of a Wi-Fi connection, people really like us to connect also the Sonos, etc., to the Wi-Fi. There we also help out. So we changed it to 3 channels, and one component above us is the personal attention. you want to make it a personal contact. So you need to understand who's your customer, who's on the other side of the line, who's online, who's on the email, who's on the chat. Make it a personal touch. Because what you will see is that although we do more online in the Netherlands, you will also find that you will have more local communities where customers want to have a local face-to-face contact with the company. The third component was we started an internal program and we called it Weddendat. And I will come back to that later. First, what did we deliver? We started a big delivery program of a service campaign in the 100 days we took for the overall transformation. So in the 100 day, we visited 500,000 addresses in the Netherlands where we optimized their in-home situation. But we were also on the in the local towns, we were visible with the service bus, so if you have a question, you can go there. So we were local present instead of you need to call us, we were proactively going out to the customer. We implemented a lot of improvements via inside Adobe, where we said, okay, if we see online things happening, where does the customer still go to a call, or where does he still go and have to end in a chat, and optimize the journey online for the customer. The third one is, by doing that, we improved the number of chats, so we were more interactive with the customer. We ended every phone call, if you call us, we end with the question, do you know anyone else who needs we need something from us? So we have a question for us or a complaint, and then call them proactively. And by doing that, you make contact to the customers who never ever contacted you. So if you look at the average in the telecom sector, 25% calls the company, 75 never does that. And if you believe in a connection with your customers, if you believe you want to build a relation, you need to create contact with the customer. So it's really not about call reduction, it's about building again relation. We implemented the buurtmonteur, was locally available for all the customers. And the third component, or last component, is we implemented Adapt Your Street. I will come back to that one. So won a bet. What I did, I made a promise or a bet internally where I said, I want to bet that within 100 days we'll have more satisfied customers. And if I fail, I will be there in a dress for a whole day, helping out at the reception desk. But if I win, the CAO had to clean all the windows of the head office. And what happened, I also did it with the CTO. So I made a bet with the CTO. So if they did something good for the customers, I will do something for them. So every time I created a bet like the old TV program. And all the communication was in your face. So on every floor we had newspapers, etc., explaining what we were doing and how we were progressing. Adapt Your Street. The background of that program was the moment I was in the local butcher in Houten, where I live. And the lady behind the desk approached me with the question, hey, you work for Ziggo, Ruben. I have a question and it's really, I'm sorry to ask you something, but can you help me? And I said, of course I can help you. It's a really strange question that you ask me that because I work for Ziggo and you also help me with the meat or whatever. And I can tell you, at that moment when we had a lot of pressure on the call centers, if someone said, well, he's working for Ziggo, the whole butcher store is looking at you. So another customer in the store said, well, it's nice, Ruben, that you help her, but what if I have a question? So at that moment, I gave 50 business cards to the butcher, left it there, and I said, every time someone has a complaint about Ziggo, you can give my business card. And that was the moment the Adapt Your Street as an idea started, and there's a short movie explaining what it is.
Ik werk bij Ziggo en wat ik hier doe is adopteer uw straat.
Ja.
Dat betekent dat ik Ziggo-ambassadeur ben.
Ja.
En dan bij iedereen langs ga van, goh, heb je Ziggo? En zo ja, zijn er problemen of gaat het heel goed? En kan ik je ergens mee helpen?
Maarten is hier langs geweest.
Ja, klopt.
Wat was er aan de hand?
We hadden wat storing met de televisie en het internet boven de wifi was niet sterk genoeg. En dan klaagde met name de dochter natuurlijk.
Je werkt natuurlijk gewoon, neem ik aan, heb je fulltime bij Ziggo.
Ja, 32 uur. Ja,
Ja, en dan doe je dit er nog bij. Maar gaat er niet gigantisch veel vrije tijd in zitten?
Nee, valt wel mee.
Ja?
Ik ben net naar de kapper geweest bijvoorbeeld. Nou, er zit een buurvrouw die zegt, oh, ik heb net mobiel van Ziggo aangevraagd.
Ja?
En hartstikke mooi, alleen ik heb nog niet een simkaartje ontvangen. Dus ik heb even gebeld aan de helpdesk.
Dus jij zit zelfs bij de kapper zit je te lobbyen voor Ziggo.
Ja.
Dus daar kwam met een hele mooie doos boven wat het signaal van beneden versterkt. En Denise, mijn dochter, is dolgelukkig.
Stel je voor, ik werk bij Ziggo en ik wil ook meedoen. Ik zou niet zo heel veel zin hebben bijvoorbeeld om het bij mij in de straat te doen.
Wat je ook kan doen is een school, hè, dat je vraagt aan mensen op school. Of een sportclub,
Ja.
of familie, vrienden. Je kan eigenlijk iedereen wel vragen om te helpen.
Ja, al is het maar 1 of 2 keer langs gaan en zeggen, jongens, kan ik jullie ergens mee helpen?
Klopt, ja. Je hoeft niet echt technisch onderlegd te zijn.
Nee, precies. Nou, ik vind het hartstikke leuk. Volgens mij heb je nu 60% van de straat heb je om. Dus je doet het goed in de sales.
Ja, hartstikke goed.
It's really brilliant that within 100 days, 1100 employees became voluntary an ambassador of Ziggo for their street or for their sport club or whatever. So they, within 100 days, at that moment it's more than 2,000 people or close to 2,000 people doing that. One of the bets was also, on day 15 of the 100-day program, I made a bet with the HR chief and I said, I want to bet that everyone comes in orange on day 50, so that you're proud of the color of your company again. And it happened. So all the locations, all the employees were for a whole day in orange. Of course, a lot of bets were also lost. So you can see a guy in a Superman's outfit. You can see a lot of things, people cleaning the toilets. But every time, if you lose, it's good for the customer. That was the bet. What was the result? First of all, 60% of our customers indicated that when they were online, the service was good, so it was satisfactory, and it was 45% before we started the program. The employee engagement went up with 29%, which is incredible in 100 days. But it resulted, and that is the most important one, in the service NPS, which improved with 10 points in 100 days. But then still, if you're accountable for service, you can never be satisfied. The moment all the customers are happy, then you're done. So if you say and believe that in your strategy, the customer is the chief of everything you do, then the people the closest to the customer are the boss of your company. And that are the agents on the phone, that are the home engineers going to the customer. So what we said, okay, we really need to change the way we organized and do Ziggo op z'n kop, so upside down. By doing that, we listen to the employees helping out the customer. So as a team leader, the team is not there for you, you're there for your team. Which means that I'm there for the organization and not the other way around. So they're not to help my KPIs make it a success. No, I'm there to facilitate whatever is needed. And if you believe that, then we need to be there, visible, and they need to tell us what we can improve every day. And it was focused on the first 90 days of a customer journey. Because what you can see, if you're a new customer, or if you do a move, you're always in the first 90 days, it's, let's put it friendly, an exciting journey for you as a customer. And we wanted to improve that. Briefly, in a short movie again, to explain what it is.
Het project Wedden Dat binnen Ziggo is nog maar net afgerond en het volgende staat alweer op het punt van beginnen. En degene die mij daar alles over kan vertellen is natuurlijk Ruben Uppelschoten. Ziggo op zijn kop. Ziggo op zijn kop. Kun je proberen uit te leggen wat je daar precies mee beoogt?
Ja, wat we bij Wedden Dat goed gedaan hebben, is echt 1 keertje de nieuwe strategie goed neerzetten. Wat we nu willen doen, is de medewerkers die elke dag met klanten bezig zijn, of elke dag met systemen, eens een keer echt laten uitspreken wat er beter moet en beter kan. Want zij zijn er dagelijks mee bezig, dus dat wil ik van beneden naar boven krijgen.
Maar hoe ga je dat stroomlijnen dat het concreet tot verbetering leidt?
Nou, we gaan beginnen met de leidinggevende. Daar gaan we mee in gesprek van, joh, je bent er voor je team en niet andersom. Dus luister naar elke dag naar wat zij te melden hebben en pak hun ideeën op en los het op. Ja. Dat moet een belofte worden.
Heb je hier ook een soort periode voor vastgesteld van dan moeten de dingen concreet veranderen? En wat moet er precies veranderen?
We willen tot het einde van het jaar 1 heel groot probleem oppakken in het bedrijf. En dat is de eerste 90 dagen van een klant bij ons. En ik wil eigenlijk aan jou vragen, zou jij niet eens even een klant kunnen gaan volgen in die eerste 90 dagen? Van wat gaat daar nou allemaal fout? Is de brief goed? Is het installatiepakket goed?
Ik heb wel iemand op het oog waarvan ik denk, dat zou wel eens een goede klant kunnen zijn.
Maar ik ben benieuwd wie je in gedachten hebt.
Ja, Nou, je komt er wel achter.
Ja, daar was ik al bang voor. Kijk Frank, dit is nou echt Ziggo op zijn kop.
Denk je dat ik helemaal gek ben? Dit is toch een montagetruc? Jij realiseert je nu wel dat jij met een stropdas naast mij staat. Met ijzerdraad erin, hè? Dat allemaal ook voor Ziggo.
Allemaal voor Ziggo. And it happened indeed. So by exposing yourself, by being, let's say, visible for all the floors, you will be connecting better with your people. And by bringing in fun by programs like You Wanna Bet in 100 Days or Ziggo op z'n kop, if people have fun doing their job, they will bring fun to the customer. That's the whole thinking behind it. And it started with bringing all the team leaders, managers, directors in one room and having a discussion with them how it worked. So it was really the employee, the agents telling to the floor from, I need this to happen to help the customer in a better way. Focusing on the first 90 days program, and if it's online, we can use tools to analyze what is happening, but also listen to the agents and help them to improve the customer satisfaction. That was my story. Thank you very much.